Hi, Tantric travelers. How are you? Happy Equinox and happy birthday, Virgo. Welcome to your birthday party for all you Virgo Tantric travelers, whether it's your sun, your moon, your rising, your Venus, your Mars. It is your season, and it is the virginal season for everyone, actually, because even if you have no placements of the inner or outer planets in Virgo, we all feel the beautiful energy of this season just by living under the sun here on Earth. And it's a very powerful season for healing and renewal and preparation for the next phase of the turning of the wheel. So here in the Northern Hemisphere, we are right at the equinox today, which means that the day and night are portioned into equal portions, so 12 and 12 pretty much. And that is a really good excuse to have a long sleep, which I've been doing. And I hope you've been getting lots of rest and feeling good, but also enjoying the sunlight and the fresh air in the daytime as much as I have this season. And it's been really interesting cyclical time, especially with all the retrogrades occurring now. But let's focus on Virgo and the equinox above all right now. And let's talk about all things Virgo if we can for a couple minutes before I offer you guys a pick a card. And Virgo, of course, is the sign of the Virgin. And here's my wallet, which has the beautiful image of Guadalupe, the Guadalupe Coatlicue, the beautiful Virgin of Mexico. And so she is representative of unconditional love, and she carries the energy of unconditional love, healing, the great mystery, the unseen part of our healing journey here on Earth. And, she appears and has appeared out of the blue, out of thin air, to people who were meant to be the carriers or the messengers for her presence here on Earth. And Coatlicue, which is kind of her shadow side, or the more ancient version of Guadalupe, is like the dark virgin. She is the earth in its formation period. And Coatlicue can be represented as kind of a monstrous figure in some cases, and she can kind of mean the breaking down of life and experience that occurs in its kind of perfect expression, which is eat life and life will eat you, or life kills. And I don't want to get too dark, but here at the equinox point, we are in this beautiful equilibrium between innocence and experience, and we have to remain aware that although experience can really grind us down and break us down, we also have a constant pool of light and innocence and hope and faith that we can draw from here on Earth and from everywhere in the universe, whatever our beliefs are and however we exercise them. So that's a beautiful reminder to take with us through these changing seasons. And let's talk and think a little bit about the concept of virginity, which is also kind of probably most popularly considered as the period before we reach maturity and we go into relationships of sexual experience with other beings in a very direct way. But we can look at it that way, but I think it's good to keep an open mind and look at the concept of virginity as having access as living beings to a renewal of our energy, to a renewal of all of our perceptive bodies or storage places. So it's kind of like cleaning out your device so that you can record your new experiences and not hanging on to every video and every picture of every moment of your summer, when you know that the upcoming time and the present time require space. And kind of looking at these light images from your experiences, considering them, and then releasing them and letting them go. And that is an opportunity that we all have at this time. So I hope you've been enjoying that and remembering that the equinox season, equal day and night, is a representation of a point on the wheel that we all journey through. It's just precedent to the time that we go into the underworld in the wintertime in the northern hemisphere. And, the signs or the houses of Libra and Scorpio really demonstrate that. And then a return to the sun arises with Sagittarius and Capricorn. But let's enjoy every single moment of this season. And although we're very close to the end of the season of Virgo, I wanted to just share some of the things that I enjoy about Virgo. And if we're talking about famous people, there are many actors and directors in film. So I think that is kind of maybe one of the reasons behind that is because Virgos can be kind of a screen that people project onto, just as virginal people can be. And people who carry the Virgo energy understand very, very well the projection that they receive as they go through life, hopefully. And some of the most famous actors that I appreciate, actors for unconditional love. Sophia Loren, whose beauty just grew and evolved with every year of her life. And, she wrote her autobiography and writes about working with some of the most influential directors of, several different generations of film history in Europe and in the States. And watching any of her appearances, which are representative of a lot of the history of the 20th century, you really understand what it is and what it was in her time, how meaningful it was to be an actor, and how the masses and the collective consciousness were influenced by film and that play of light and shadow on the screen of our consciousness. And Sophia's beauty was also imbued with the meaning of her name, which is wisdom, and the choices that she made in how she portrayed and conveyed the characters that she was playing in the different times. So hats off to Sophia. There's some really interesting directors. Baz Luhrmann is one of them. There are more, but they're not coming to my mind. I actually have a dear friend who passed at far too young an age, but he was a film director and producer, and he also shared and taught his craft to young people all around the world. And he worked everywhere from Hollywood to Africa to China to Belize. And Matthew, I miss you. Your kindness and compassion had such an influence upon my life, and your dedication left your mark upon the world. And I love you. And there are other I was thinking about the beauty of the Virgo countenance and the Virgo energy, which sort of carries this air of devotion, the Vestal Virgin, kind of keeper of the light. And so, one of my favorite male actors is his choice in roles has been really selective and discerning, just like Sophia's were in her time, and his name is Alexander Skarsgård. And I really love the roles that he's played, and just the variation in the characters that he has portrayed and the archetypes, the way that he's chosen to kind of work with them. And I really do believe that actors can be actors for unconditional love and can be great healers. that's another aspect of the Virgin energy, the Virgo energy, is that Virgos are very interested in healing and care, and often that includes their communities and the people who surround them, maybe even sometimes to their detriment. Virgos can be overgivers at times. My mom is a Virgo, and she's always very generous with sharing her energy to help make our material lives better. And I'm glad that she, as an older woman now, is looking to taking care of her own health and devoting as much dedication to that as she did in raising us and caring for us when we were kids. And thanks, Mom. I love you. Who else? I've got really a bouquet of amazing close friends who are Virgos, and a lot of them I kind of met in my teen years, which is the Virgo era. So all of the houses of the zodiac rotate through different eras of human life. For instance, we start at Aries with the newborn baby, and in Virgo we're hitting like the preteen and teen years, of course. It makes sense, right? So it's that period of life where we're straddling innocence and experience, and we're trying to make sense of both, and we might be interested in learning more, but there's a lot of reticence to let go of our innocence too, and our families will often try and protect us from engaging in too much experience, because it can be a bit of an overload on the psyche, and sometimes we have to retreat and go back and go within ourselves when we were teenagers, not just sometimes, but often, because there is this constant processing of the past, the present, and the future, and like the integration of where we are at that key point in our human life cycle. So I like to look at my Virgo friends and kind of witness them being able to hold that slightly irresponsible, sometimes a little bit emotional, a little bit moody, hormonal kind of energy that the preteens and the teens have. And I really like to hang out with my Virgo friends who I've been friends with since I was a teenager, or since I was a virgin or almost a virgin, because it helps me to kind of re-access that energy within myself. And no matter how old they are, there's still something really charmingly adolescent about the Virgo energy, and I really love it. So happy birthday. And if you're going to talk about what kind of things Virgos like to do for their birthday, well, I don't know. Like, a lot of the gifts that I've tried to give my mom, I'm not sure if they were really her taste or not. Virgos are earth energy, but they're not earth energy in the same way as Taurus and Capricorn, which is a little bit more entrenched in, in either the actual earth, like planetary, like natural, and Capricorn is like the material, so societal, material experience. Virgos, I feel, are more about the body, and that's why healing and care is so important to them, and self-care. So I think they like things for their body, probably, and that could be like anything from like a beautiful medicinal cream, like a scented herbal cream, to some jewelry or adornment. I know that Virgos are usually really into plants, so I think the herbal aspect of that could be a cue or a clue for you if you want to get your Virgo friend or lover a gift for their birthday. I know Virgos like organizing stuff, so it could definitely involve any kind of, maybe storage tricks. It could also involve maybe, well, they like to do it themselves, so I wouldn't suggest like reorganizing, alphabetizing their bookcase, because it wouldn't be the way that they wanted it. I would also possibly not suggest like loading the dishwasher when a Virgo's around, because they're going to take all the dishes out and do it again. I might have mentioned that in another Virgo reading, but it's really true. I've witnessed it. And I know Virgos like shopping and buying stuff, so you could go on a little shopping expedition, Or, you know, and I was thinking about it, I was thinking like the Virgo, the teen sort of version of that would be shoplifting expedition. Don't do that. Don't do that, Virgo. Virgos can be a little bit naughty in their adolescent energy, and that's one of the most likable things about them because they're so freaking capable in their life and in their careers and in the organization of their material world. So to see a little bit of, you know, of breaking the rules is always fun. If you're hanging out with a Virgo, or if you are a Virgin. So happy birthday, and I hope you're having a great season, and thank you for sharing your energy with us, beautiful Virgos. Oh, by the way, Mother Teresa was also a Virgo, and this beautiful, you know, unconditional compassion and love and community organization is one of your best traits, and I've never seen any Virgo happier than when they are engaging those natural talents to help the community that surrounds them. And I commend you and toast you, my lovely Virgos. I think I've got a sip of water in here. I'm on the spring water today. I commend you and toast you for your dedication and devotion and for being the keeper of the light for us. So happy birthday, Virgo. And now let's do a pick a card reading for you and for all tantric travelers who are watching. If you like the videos that I produce with the changing of the zodiacal wheel, so I do usually one or two for each season. So one for Capricorn season and onwards throughout the year. If you like them, if you like your birthday parties, can you hit the like button? And if you see this video and you haven't subscribed, I would love it just to sort of keep track of how many people are watching and who's out there if you subscribe. So you're welcome to do that. And now we're going to offer your pick a card reading, everybody. And I think the question today will be, what does your teenage self want to remind you of? So what does your teenage self want to remind you of, want to help you with? And, you know, time is fluid, and whatever year of life we are in by numbers, we still hold the genetic and the cellular resonance of all the other periods of our lives that we have had and that we may have. And we still have the opportunity to be grateful for whatever those experiences taught us in every era of our maturation, of our journey here on earth. And there are so many medicines that are held in the neural pathways of our brain that we can access and we can use to heal ourselves more and more, to heal every part of our body, our mind, and to gain success in our spiritual journey here on earth. And if we tap into the neural pathways as well as the soul fragments and, you know, ask to pull them back to us, this can be from our adolescent years that we're going to do today. If we do that consciously, then we can really reactivate a lot of power and a lot of either forgotten or untapped potential that resides within us. So let's do that right now. Okay, so I've already pre-shuffled the cards, but I'm going to offer you 3 choices for your pick a card, and on this beautiful healing day of the equinox. So one of them will be this feather. One of them will be this beautiful half dark, half light stone that my beautiful friend Sophia gave me. Not Sophia Loren, the other Sophia. And for the other, let's use the Palo Santo, which is a healing and clearing medicine wood. Giant trees that are grown in Central and South America and are dedicated for shamanic practice. And it's a beautiful smell. And so those are your three choices: the feather, the dark and light stone, and the Palo Santo. It smells so good. So tapping into our adolescent selves, to our teenage energies, past, present, future. What guidance does our teenage self have for us today? Tapping into our ancestors, the wisdom, the Sophia of our ancestors, our animal ancestors, our mineral ancestors, our plant ancestors. And beginning with the feather, what guidance does our teenage, our adolescent energy, our virginal self have for us today? And I did pre-shuffle pile number 1, Feather People, so I will give it a little quick reshuffle for you and see what guidance for Feather Tantric Travelers from our gorgeous virginal selves here on this equinox as we straddle darkness and light, day and night, experience and innocence. What guidance? Okay, so from the Night Sun Tarot, we have the 5 of Pentacles. So this is really talking about a change that is in your energetic vicinity right now, is in your presence, a change in a feeling of being outside of access to, being an outsider, not being accepted for who you are. And it could be about, the way that you look at whatever stage in your life you're at. You could feel a little bit awkward right now, or like you're not really feeling like your authentic, beautiful, healthy self for some reason. But the 5 is indicating that this is going to change, and your teenage self, your virginal self, wants to remind you that you've been through these phases before. That when you were 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, there were times when you felt really good about who you were and you felt like you measured up, and there were times where you really felt like you didn't have what everybody else had in, the clothes that you wore, the way your skin was, the way your hair is or was. You weren't sure if the music that you liked would be accepted. You weren't sure if people thought you were pretty or fat or, a nerd or a stoner, or what they thought about you. And sometimes social media can really kind of enhance these doubts that we have about our own value and our own self-worth. But I feel like with this 5 of Pentacles card, you have everything that you require in your own hand. So, it's really about what you choose to hold on to and what you choose to give value to that counts. And this is encouragement from your teenage self to stick with that, stick with what your parents told you, hopefully, which is it only matters, what you believe on the inside. Okay, so let's look at the other tarot for Feather People. This is what I call the Ancient French Tarot. So let's see, for Feather People, what advice from their teenage self? Okay, so we have the 2 of Pentacles, so more Pentacles. So this is really, I feel like, about your material life, and it could be about your physical self, your appearance, your health, your beauty. It could also be about balancing your physical health with what you have to do to support yourself financially and materially. And finding that balance and, reattaining a feeling of stability. Maybe even your adolescent self is saying kind of, allow the earth to be apparent to you. The Two of Pentacles really brings to mind the image that has been coming up in this reading, which is straddling the dark and the light, this equinox, one foot on each side of the summer and the winter. And maybe you're going through an adjustment period right now where you're not sure what the new season is going to bring for you, as far as work, as far as money, as far as health. Maybe the light is really affecting you and you're really learning how to come into balance. I just received that vitamin D is a good idea for you, as is, as much outside exercise and, even sitting outside and enjoying the sunlight, the different times of day is really important to you. Okay, now let's take one from the Loteria Mexicana. Okay, so what advice, what help is your virginal self giving you this equinox to carry on? What help? Oh, interesting, La Maceta, which is number 50. So there could be some people who are 50 or going into their 50s. And La Maceta is, it's the house plant. And I mentioned how Virgos love plants. So this could be, very obvious and just talking about inviting beautiful plants into our environment to cheer us up and to give us something to care for outside of ourselves and to feel the pleasure of caring for another being. And it's also about stability and staying home and maybe appreciating a time of introspection and stability more than a time of outward movement, outward energy, and adventure. So, but it's a really beautiful card. The colors, like a lot of beauty, a lot of pleasure. It could even be about the way that you adorn or decorate your environment and, buying yourself a beautiful orchid or violet to make your room nice, make your living room nice, your kitchen, buying some herbs. So good luck with that, feather people. Many blessings this equinox for the oncoming season, and happy birthday to you Virgo feather people. Mwah. Okay, let's move on to the Sophia stone, or the half dark, half light stone. So the question today is, what guidance, what help does your virginal, your adolescent, your teenage self have to share with you? This can be at any phase of your life. So, it's the way that you express that kind of virginal energy in your life now, and how your former or your future teenage virginal self is supporting you. So straddling experience and innocence, straddling dark and light, this equinox. What advice does your virginal self have to share with you? Okay, the Three of Pentacles. So a lot of pentacles coming out. All pentacles so far in the first reading and in this one. Three of Pentacles. I am going to recommend that you look at the first reading if the feather called to you at all, because of the other cards in it, and it feels like this is somehow in continuity or relation to the first reading. So moving from the Two of Pentacles that was in the feather reading to Three of Pentacles, which I believe is really talking about pulling in the stability that you have created in your life, and pulling it into a manifestation. So stability in that you are balanced between the material and the soul, or the material and the spiritual. And you found a place to plant yourself and you have found a place to feel secure so that you can do some of the soul work that you came here to do, and you can manifest the results of that in your life and in the world that surrounds you. So it does have to do with cooperation with the divine and timing and paying attention to the cycles that we are in and moving into, knowing when it is to initiate something energetically and knowing what it is, when it is to receive and to claim the harvest of the work that you've put in, and also knowing when to, to allow the field to go fallow and allow the plants, that the seeds that you have planted and have matured, allow some of those things to die off, and know that there are perennial energies in your life and there are seasonal energies. So that's really what I'm getting for this. But it's this knowledge and awareness and coming into a cooperation with these cycles, which is going to bring great abundance. Three pentacles is infinite pentacles. It's the number of infinite energy, increase and multiplication. So as long as you pay attention to where you're at in the cycle. So for instance, if you're in the northern hemisphere, in the larger cycle, the solar cycle, things are receding for sure in a lot of ways, but you can gain and contribute to your abundance maybe by going within more, by staying home more. Whereas in the southern hemisphere, where it's springtime, you're starting to think about the seeds that you want to plant, both literally and figuratively, in your material world, your health, what activities you're going to do this summer, what foods you're going to be eating this season, and all of those things. So that's really beautiful advice. And also, if we're talking about your virginal self, teenage people are most often still in school, if they're fortunate enough to live in a society that, values education for its young people. So I think a value of education is being reawakened in you, and you may be thinking of going back to school and seeking inspiration in how, where, and whom to go to learn more. So that's really cool. Okay, let's do one more tarot for you. Sophia Stone Pile. Okay, we have the Three of Swords in reverse, and I'm going to take one more actually, because I felt that energy coming up and it might have been a little bit of my energy. Okay, this one. Yeah, okay, cool. Probably is a little bit of my energy, but it's still cool. So the Three of Swords in reverse is, the pulling of the swords out of the heart. So experiences of trauma, disappointment, betrayal, painful relationship cycles and mental cycles, which taught you a lot about yourself and who you are and where you're going. And we know that adolescence can be really painful, and that a lot of things come to the surface in adolescence where we say we don't want to be treated like this anymore, or that there is an injustice in our life that needs to be addressed in our intimate relationships maybe, or wounds that we incurred in our younger childhood years. But when we want to remain in a virginal mindset and a virginal energy of renewal, then this can be a powerful time to heal. And I have my medicine shirt on today to send that energy out to you from my heart. So this is a sign to you from your virginal, your adolescent self, that no matter what happened and how painful things were, this cycle is coming to a close, and those wounds are healing, and that pain is being drawn out of you. That poison and pain is being drawn out of you and will leave you stronger. That's really beautiful. So with the world, I feel that same message is being given to you by your ancestors and your highest guides. And I think it is being given to us collectively that the trials and worries, anxieties that we've all been experiencing are evolving and healing. And we will reach a period of renewal and victory in this cycle of learning that we have dedicated ourselves to. I guess my teenage self is telling me it's okay to cry on camera. It doesn't always happen, but when it happens, it really does. There's a beautiful release in crying, and a nice tantrum is always fun. But it's also fun to dry your tears and move forward. And, you know, we can go from crying to laughing and hilarity very quickly when we're teenagers, and we can do the same anytime if we want. So let's get a loteria americana. Little chocolate to make us feel better. Let's see. So what help? Wow, incredible. So we have number 13, El Tambor, the drum. And to me, this is kind of the funeral card or the death card. And it's about the rhythm changing. So the rhythm of the world changing as well as your inner rhythm, which sometimes strives to match it a lot. But your inner rhythm could be finding its own beat. Your heart could be finding a new beat to dance to. And it's kind of like a death card, you know, like the funeral march or something like that. But it's a beautiful sound. It means that, you know, whatever tune or whatever beat rhythm we're playing in our own hearts will resonate back to us. So whatever we put out comes back to us, and we have a chance to receive. So, you know, if we were patient and compassionate with ourselves and others in the cycles that we've just passed through, and the healing cycles and the worry and anxiety and angst that we've just passed through, then we will receive that from our outer environment back to us in, you know, ripples of patience and compassion as we go through the letting go of that phase of ourselves. So that's beautiful. There is a time, Libra season is approaching, and justice and pure balance, you know, we've seen things from both sides. Once we pass through Virgo, we've seen the equal dark and the equal light, and we may have an opportunity to see things from both sides, you know, the victim and the perpetrator, or the parent and the child, or, you know, the government or the collective and the individual. And we can put those two sides together, or at least begin to embark upon that journey. And the Libra phase, the cycle that we're going into in the next couple days, is very important for that, because it is the cycle of justice. So it means that there is an expression of the wrongs that have occurred and an attempt to right them, R-I-G-H-T, in our own lives and in the society that we live in. So we have that to look forward to. And no matter what innocence is taken from us in this life, we always have the opportunity to embrace new experiences that supersede the old. And I wish you much healing and love, you beautiful teenage Sophia Stones. Sorry about the tears. I hope it wasn't too ugly. Okay, and the final pile for today's Pick a Card Virgo Equinox birthday party is this gorgeous, fragrant Palo Santo. which means like holy branch, holy wood. Sending lots of healing to you, Palo Santo virgins. A medicine shirt. I've got the scorpion, which is a medicine I have received being stung on my baby toe. I have the beautiful grandfather medicine, peyote. We have the deer, Venus, the bunny, which is lunar medicine, mescal, maguey. There's a lot of medicines on this shirt, and all available to us in the way. We have the serpent, and I have my serpents in for healing. So I have a feeling this could be, the healer's pile. So let's see what your adolescent shaman has to say to you, Palo Santo. What your adolescent virgin self, virgin guides have to say to you. What guidance are they sending you? What guidance are they sending you, Palo Santo? What guidance for Palo Santo? Tantric travelers. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I always forget to say that. But I've been at 60 subscribers for a while, and I would love to see it get up to, 77. Okay, before Christmas would be nice, if anyone's listening. Okay, here we go. Okay, so your adolescent shaman, beautiful Palo Santo, your adolescent virginal self, is talking about the Seven of Pentacles, so another Pentacles card. And it's interesting because it's ranging between 1 and 10 of the Pentacles in the first two piles in this one. And Virgo being an earth sign does not surprise me, but we're really talking about our own health and our own healing. And with the Seven of Pentacles for you, Palo Santo people, I feel that this is about really embracing and continuing to give attention to the balance between all of your energetic bodies and all of your chakras. And that goes from the Earth Star chakra up to the Soul Star chakra. So there's 9 altogether, but in between that, the ones that we mostly deal with in our day-to-day lives are the 7 chakras in between, starting with the root chakra, going to the sacral chakra, solar plexus, anahata, heart chakra, vishuddha, throat chakra, pingala, third eye or first eye chakra, sahasrara, our crown chakra. So these 7 are very, very accessible to us all the time. And when we manifest our lives and our health and our personal growth, our soul growth in the material realm of the earth plane, we work with all of those chakras. And when they're in balance, we are positioned not only to work on the manifestation, but most particularly we're in position to receive it, and receive it steadily without blockage. Because the blockages to our manifestations, as the beautiful raven flies outside, the blockages are created to our own manifestations, are created and within ourselves. And when we give the healing attention, those blockages clear. So whether it's a blockage in your root chakra, your vibration of security, stability, where you live, your body, your feelings of well-being in your physical body, or whether it's balancing out some emotions, which we know can be influenced by hormonal shifts and seasonal shifts, our access to sunlight and so on. Whatever these approaches are, and the approaches can and are recommended to be approaches which also involve all of our energetic centers and emanations and potentials. So for instance, if I'm trying to manifest a beautiful copacetic place for myself to live, I'm not just going to be reading the classified ads. I'm going to be thinking about what kind of place it is that I like to live and envisioning that, visualizing it with, my Pingala chakra, but also maybe talking to my guides, ancestors, and to God about helping me with this, and really pulling in my highest self in manifesting a beautiful place to live. So those are some examples. And if we do all of those things concurrently, and if we even further pull it into the Earth Star Chakra, and we pull even further outwards from our Soul Star Chakra, and we encapsulate them between the two, then we manifest successfully, and we manifest stably. So with stability. So that's beautiful that came through. Let's get one more tarot card for you. Palo Santo Virgins. La Virgen de Palo Santo. Ooh, a King of Cups. It's the first Cups energy we've had. So there are some emotions here. And your adolescent virgin self is telling you that you have really come into a throne or a place of stability, and your feet are on the ground, you're supported by the earth, and you're pulling in the highest wisdom. You can see him, he's kind of like giving a cheers to heaven, and it looks like kind of a cheers, a salute of gratitude and confidence and faith that what he is pulling in is going to be, emotionally going to be fulfilling for him. And because he has been in communication with his highest self, just as the Seven of Pentacles was saying, he has been in communication with his crown chakra and his soul star chakra, and he has pulled in his highest emotional well-being and abundance and fulfillment, soul fulfillment through the heart chakra. He's pulled it in from his highest self. He's been guided by his highest self. And the King of Cups is renowned for creativity, compassion, for being both a progenitor of family and the arts, as well as a supporter of those things in his community. He could be, a teacher, a parent, and when I say he, it doesn't refer to necessarily a man, but I am feeling some masculine energy here. So King of Cups is kind of like daddy energy, and understands temperance, balance, because we need to be emotionally responsible to provide that support to the people around us, the teenagers around us. So your inner teenager is saying, maybe even look to the example of your own parents and think about how you were treated as an adolescent in your life. And if you're feeling a little bit of imbalance now, then to pull in that energy of the parent of the adolescent to help you. But also to have faith that hormonal shifts do happen, and they really can have a huge impact on our psyches. And, the changing light can really have a huge impact upon our psyches. And in these equinox seasons, whether we're in the northern or southern hemispheres, it's a huge shift for our neuro apparati to kind of take in. And it can cause a lot of unconscious stress, and we can have, very strange dreams, and we have to be open to communicating those, whether it's through art, writing, or speaking. Spending time in or near water, spending time in the light, as well as receding into the dark a little bit to process, then we can really be a lot more successful in these equinox seasons as tantric travelers. So here's the Loteria Mexicana. Let's see. Oh, La Sandia. More water. So this is watermelon. This is really saying to be a little bit social, actually. And your teenage self is kind of like, this is like a little bit of a, promiscuous energy. So your teenage self may have been promiscuous, or you may have been, you know, just feeling your moans, and dating a lot. But your teenage self, your adolescent virginal self is kind of feeling the impetus to explore a little bit, and that can be through dating and connecting on the sacral level with, you know, a lot of interesting people, with flirting, with enjoying some adult playtime. Yeah, and we also have the Empress in reverse, La Chalupa. She came out in reverse, but I feel like this is like, be patient. If this isn't a really financially prosperous time for you, be patient because it's coming. But right now, maybe it's a good time for you to pay attention to your sacral chakra and your creative and sexual, you know, needs and adventures and healing and learning, and maybe dipping your toe into that kind of experience a little bit. And knowing that you're not yet, you know, you're not yet in your Empress energy, but exploring a little bit. Because the Empress is like, usually comes out as being like pregnant and that kind of abundance, but the Virgin is the stage before that, right? So that's kind of cool, guys. So Palo Santo, Tantric Travelers, that is your reading, and I hope you enjoyed it. Hope it resonates. I went through all of the emotions in this Virgo birthday party, so I feel kind of that I've tapped into my own adolescent energy, and I hope you enjoyed the reading. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Adios.